I'd like to give you an overview of the workflow you're about to see, just to highlight Ayehu NG's ability to be that single pane of glass, tying together so many different pieces in your environment. It's going to start with an end user sending a request through Slack that they would like a Zoom account. And that request goes directly to Ayehu, which looks up the manager that user directly reports to on Active Directory. When the manager is identified, Ayehu passes along the user's request to the manager and awaits an approval or a denial. In our use case, the manager approves the request, which by the way is all done through email. Ayehu then provisions an account on Zoom, and next Ayehu sends the user an update via Slack that the request for a Zoom account was approved. It also emails the user their new Zoom credentials. And finally, Ayehu will open up a ticket in ServiceNow and document every aspect of this request, automatically creating a complete record of everything that transpired.
So we are here in the Ayehu NG system behind me, and in front I have my Slack messaging client. So the idea here today is that me in my Slack client, I'm an end user, I'm an employee, and I need access to a Zoom account. Now, under normal circumstances, I might pick up the phone and call into the help desk, maybe send an email or submit a ticket. But today, I'm going to do all of it with this virtual assistant. So as we can see in this running workflows tab behind me, the Slack chatbot workflow is actually executed and running right now. I'm going to choose this request account button here. And then, as we said, today we're going to request an account for Zoom. So the workflow running in the background right now, the same one that generated these messages and these different buttons, is actually comparing my Slack user ID to everything it has on record in Active Directory. It's figuring out who I am, and today I'm Jimmy Doe, and it is actually determining who my manager is. And what it's done is it's created a ticket in ServiceNow for which it has provided a link, and it's letting me know that it has sent an email approval for the Zoom account to my manager, Derek Pasquarella. And it lets us know that as soon as it's approved, we'll be notified right back here in Slack. So what I'm going to do is take my mail client here, and I'm going to show us the message that was just received in my inbox. So we can see right here, it's addressed me by name. It lets me know that one of my direct reports has requested a Zoom account. There's been a ticket created to document all of this. And all I need to do is reply to the email with either the word approved or the word denied. So of course, we're feeling in good graces today. So we're going to say approved, send that response back. Now, because the Ayehu NG system is monitoring that inbox, in a moment in this running workflows tab, we will see our tool pick up on that incoming email and actually execute the workflow. Here it is, to parse out all the information from the email, figure out who the request was for, determine if it was an approval or a denial. Oh, and here we see, message was just updated, letting me know the account was created. The ServiceNow ticket has been updated. It gives us the link again, and then also lets us know that we can go and check our inbox and we will see the Zoom account invitation waiting for us. So I'm actually logged in to Mr. Jimmy Doe's mailbox right now, and if I go over here, I can actually see sent just 1 minute ago. Here is our Zoom account activation email. So all I have to do as a user is click this, and you know the drill. Typically, you're brought to a page where you have to create your first-time password, and you're off to the races, ready to go. No human being had to be tied up at a service desk for that. As a manager, all I would do is see a simple email. I would be able to say, oh yeah, that's right. You know, Jimmy does need Zoom accounts for his work. Let me go ahead and approve that. And the whole thing took just a minute or two. So why don't I actually click this link so we can pull up the ServiceNow ticket itself, just so we can get a quick glimpse at it. And then we'll return to the Ayehu side to take a look at the workflows responsible for today's demonstration. So we can see here, of course, we've got our short description letting us know this is for a Zoom account creation request. And in the full description, we've got the employee's full name, their email address, and even the place from which the request came. which of course we also have up here in the contact type field, Slack. Scrolling down here in the work notes, we can see that Ayehu NG sent an approval email to the manager. And then once the manager approved the request via email, the new Zoom account was created and the requester was notified from Slack. I wanted to also mention that even though we are using Slack for today's webinar demonstration, as you can see here, this could have just as easily been handled with our Microsoft Teams integration for chatbots as well, generating messages, generating buttons, bidirectional communication, all of it. So now that we've seen the ticket that has now been resolved, let's return back over to the Ayehu NG side. I'm going to open up the main menu and head into the workflow designer so we can take a quick tour of the two workflows that powered this demo today. So this here is Zoom step 1. This is the workflow that is executed once the requester makes his initial request there within his Slack client. So what we actually do is use our Slack activities that are just like our Teams activities that let us to define custom messages here. We could also, of course, define our buttons that you saw in action in today's webinar. And then we use our pre-built plug and play Active Directory activities to actually pull from AD all of the account information based on the Slack ID. We pull their full name so we can address them properly, their email address. We pull the distinguished name for their manager, throw that into an LDAP query so that we can get back the actual name of the manager, store that, create our ServiceNow ticket. And for the uninitiated who aren't too familiar, you know, our integrations with ITSM tools like ServiceNow, Sharewell, the BMC Remedy Force offerings, all of those, Jira. It's all done through the GUI here, where we automatically are aware of and discovering all of the tables, forms, and fields, whether they're standard or custom, allowing our users to very simply select these tables and forms and give different fields values, all from within the GUI. There's no advanced, you know, field mapping, no JSON or XML you have to edit or modify. It's all done intuitively, just like this. Same is true for sending off our approval email. We can see here we've got the manager's email address we pulled from Active Directory, and here's our message body that we built that you also saw me respond to. Then, of course, we send that final message back to the requester to let them know, hey, I've sent the approval email to your manager. Just hang tight, wait and see. And then the second part, upon our platform receiving the response to the request email, just pulls through some of the message body, parses out and extracts things like the ServiceNow ticket number, the email address of the requester, and then leverages our plug and play Active Directory activities again to rebuild some of the information, the requester's name, their Slack ID, things like that. And then here we can see, based on the approval status, if it's been approved, we head down this left branch here where we generate a nice strong password, create the Zoom account with our new Zoom activities that can actually be found in our GitHub community repository right now. And then, of course, update our ticket and our terminal step, no matter whether it was approved or denied, left or right branch. Our terminal step, of course, is to notify the requester back in Slack.